Okay, listen, I don't know if I'm late on this because I'm looking at this date on this podcast from Sports Kita with Randall Keith Orton and his dad, Bob, who seems extremely proud of his son. It's from June 4th. So it came across my YouTube and I listened to it, and it really just says a lot of what I say when I talk about self care and jobs. And that's what this is about. We're gonna go into, first of all, I listened to it. It's a real quick clip. Um, it's funny that Hulk Hogan chose Braun Breaker to be the next face of WWE, and I don't know if that's like something Braun Breaker would be flattered to have a flaming racist philanderer picking him to be the next face. But Randy Orton chose Austin Theory. I thought that was really interesting. I think Randy sees a lot of him in Austin Theory because Randy in his younger ages was hell on wheels. There's a story out there about Randy that he used to put his hands in his pants, rub all his balls, and walk around and shake people's hands and shit. Like he was really a funky ass dude. No, he was not a child Medusa, so don't say, well, he was just 23. He was grown, rubbing his balls and shaking people's hands. Okay? Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. So, he was asked by, I don't know who this old guy is, Bill Apter. He was asked by Bill Apter over down to the Sports Kita, what is the difference between Triple H and Vince McMahon? And this is the now infamous quote that apparently has been floating around, and some other people did some podcasts about it. Let's listen, shall we?
H era. This is the last question, I promise. The Triple H era and the era before this is totally different.
Yeah.
What is different for you that you like so very much?
Off the top of my head, and like, listen, I love Vince. He gave me so many opportunities, but I think it was kind of time for him to move on. It's unfortunate that it happened in the way that it happened, but it's nice having people in charge of me that understand how important it is for you to be home for birthdays and home for Thanksgiving and home for Christmas. Vince McMahon had us, he had Raw and Monday Night Live where, everyone's, doesn't care if he had kids. I came to him when I was 35 and my back really started going, and I pleaded with him, like, man, I gotta not do as many shows, maybe do half the tour and be able to recover. And he just looked at me and was like, oh, I need you on those shows, Randy. Mother Nature gets us all. And to hear that and go, okay, well, I guess there's no other, thing I can do other than just, wear myself out down to the nub until, I can't walk anymore for this man. And all the opportunities he gave me, it's nice having him out of there, and it's nice having his son-in-law, Triple H, running the game. Nick Khan's great. Everybody with TKO that's come in, stepped in, they seem to get it, and it's a different era.
Yeah.
It's a different era.
The RKO and TKO.
You're right, exactly, like you said. But I think the way that they care for talent nowadays and make sure that talent's good, and if they need a little bit of a break, we're only human, they get it.
Okay, so basically, the difference between the Triple H era and the Vince McMahon era is Triple H seems to now allow the talent, the independent contractors, time to recoup, time to go away, relax, do their thing. Randy was going for damn near a year before he returned at that pay-per-view, big, muscular, refreshed, greased, and oiled up. Triple H had a health scare and end up getting a pacemaker. I think after Triple H had that health scare, I think a lot of things came into perspective for him. I feel like if Triple H didn't have that health scare, he probably would still have the same type of mentality as Vince McMahon. He is a student of Vince McMahon. He, I wouldn't say worship him, but he looks up to Vince McMahon. The guy, gave him all these opportunities. Everybody has to always buff oh, Vince gave me opportunities, Vince did that and third. But Vince didn't give a fuck about your family. He didn't give a fuck about your body or anything like that. Because he's the man in charge. Vince would say, they said Vince will do the move and then expect you to do the move. Vince has blown his quads, balls, and all that in the ring. He will go above and beyond to get this instant gratification. We already seen Vince in action. Everybody's not built like that. That's that boomer shit. That you're supposed to work to the bone and work so hard for stuff that you didn't yourself didn't work hard. Vince didn't get his company from scratch. Now he did build it into this, phenomenon that it is, but the company was his dad's. Okay? His kids worked with him. So it's not like he didn't get to see his kids grow up. They also came on board. His wife was right there while he was cheating and having and sucking and licking down talent. His wife was right there the whole time. So when someone like Randy Orton, who you've worked with his daddy, you would think he would have some type of, you know what, I work with your dad, go ahead, take time off. He said, I don't give a fuck. Because I'd have said, he probably said the same thing to his daddy. I don't give a fuck. You got to be there, and you better put a back brace on and break that motherfucker. Do not let these jobs fool you. If a job does not promote some type of self-care, if a job does not have a mental health standard, don't take the job. I now working in my profession, which is mental health, we pride ourselves on taking breaks. The job I work at is extremely demanding. The kids I work with is an extremely high risk population. They're boys. They work me out all the time, mentally, mostly. I have to have a break. My supervisor's getting a week off. I had the opportunity to take 2 weeks off. And that's a fantastic thing. So when I come back refreshed. My mind's reset. I'm able to come with clarity and perform at the best level I can perform at. When I listen to old wrestlers talk about the business and what the business and the business is, if you are so wrapped up in the business, okay, don't have kids and don't get married. That's man or woman. Because you're going to literally leave other lives by the wayside. Randy wants to be with his wife. He wants to be with his kids. He wants to see them grow. I'm listening to Ric Flair talk about he was jet riding and flip flying and missed every fucking thing. You watch the Dark Side of the Ring, and every time they bring up the wives and the kids, the wrestlers on the road, WWE is demanding. These days, they can take their children on the road. They're richer these days. Jay Cargill, for example, she's a millionaire coming in. She's married to a legendary baseball player. They already got money coming in. So they could bring their daughter. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are the top stars in WWE right now. They could bring their kids and do the show and go back to the bus. Cody Rhodes, he got a big ass bus that's sponsored by that Wheatley vodka. He could bring the whole family on the road and he won't miss anything with his kids. Everybody can't do that. They haven't put their quote unquote dues. And so they miss out on a lot of things. But you do that because this is what you love and it's what you want to do. And I'm not going to fault nobody for wanting to do what they love when it comes to their profession. But what are you willing to sacrifice? We only got one body. Randy is only a year older than me. I didn't even realize it. He's 44. He looks damn good. But his back, spine, and everything else is fucked up. These people are landing all on their head, neck, shoulders, awkwardly and stuff. And I just think it's awful for Vince to say something to him like that. Oh, well, we old and they catch up to Vince is a billionaire. He got a fucking gym in his office. That's all he cares about. He didn't give a fuck about his family for real. He didn't give a fuck about his family. So I guess he assumed anybody that's going to go into the business with him, you don't give a fuck about your family. And some of them wrestlers didn't give a fuck about their family. It's talked about all the time. So I guess I say all this to say, when you get on these jobs and you get in your professions and stuff, Practice self-care. Do not let the job say, well, we're family, and you get cut off and you devastated. Like Dominic Dijakovic is a conversation that's being had. They didn't tell that man nothing. They just fired him, and he's just like, well, what the fuck? Cameron Grimes on the computer crying, talking about, well, I thought everything was fine. Didn't nobody tell me nothing. These jobs want 2-week notice before you quit. They'll fire you the same goddamn day. So don't put all your eggs in the basket. Get what you're. It's a transactional relationship. You're getting something, and the job is getting something. And while you all are getting something, until somebody's tired of getting what they're getting, you make sure you take care of your mental health and your body. I'm glad Randy. I agree with Randy. He said got this guy out of here. Triple H is more family oriented, but I really think it's because Triple H almost died that he's more family oriented. Mortality will put things in perspective. My father died. That puts a lot of things in perspective for me. We all gonna pass, but it's the way you want to do it. Do you want to do it in a wheelchair? Or you want to do it standing up? Right? That's really the question. Do you want to work your body to the nub for some billionaire who don't give a fuck? If Randy Orton was in a wheelchair right now, like that, like old boy, I forgot his name. You know what I'm talking about, in that wheelchair, who had a nice body but a butterhead. Do you think somebody give a fuck? No, that's why Bret Hart mad and shit. He can't wrestle, he can't do shit, and stroke and all kinds of stuff. These people, when you get injured, I think Mark Henry, and I'm going to leave that. Mark Henry said, when you get injured and everybody moves away from you, there's no one's checking on you, it puts a lot of things in perspective about people who give a fuck about you. And he made a quote, and I don't even have it, but I emailed it to myself. I'm going to try to do the quote as best as I can. The quote was, when you got success, everybody is praising you, but when you failing, success is something about the greatest thing, and failure is a bastard. Success has the most fathers, and failure is an orphan. That's it. Everybody want to talk about the success, but when you fuck up and you losing, don't nobody want to take accountability for the failure. That's all left up to you. And most of the time when you fail, it should be all left up to you. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that, coming from a social work perspective, a mental health professional perspective. And y'all tell me what y'all think if you made it this far.